Hola! Incredible greetings. Ooh, pause. Y'all didn't hear my song. Haha. I muted myself. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a mess in here. So we're going to clean up, clean up. Everybody, everywhere. Clean up, clean up. Everybody, do your share. I muted myself. Alrighty, let's get this. Let's get this started in here. Let's get it started in here. We're gonna share it out. Share it out. I hate the fact that it only does like when you're sharing it out, like I mean this part becomes public, but it's like friends only type deal and it's aggravating. Instead of me allowing me to put it public, because I think people who just follow me don't get to see the video. So yeah, because it makes like you no longer can change the audience on these anymore, and that really sucks. It definitely sucks. 35 Creative Academy. Let's get this all shared out. I am taking my kid to his first real concert. So he's been to one before. We went to Justin Timberlake right after I had Zion Imani. He was my date to go see Justin Timberlake. But this is a concert that is for him, an artist that he actually knows and likes and all that kind of good jazz. Oh my God, these ants! They're driving me crazy. Oh my God, these ants are driving me insane. Hate rainy season because it brings the ants in. I mean, me having stuff on my desk doesn't help, but it's more so the rain. But it is a hot mess. Oh, I feel like an ant was in my nose. Hotmess.com in here. So we're going to clean up, but also have a chit chat. All right. I did say good morning, huh? Wait, did I say morning? No, I said incredible Monday live. Okay. I was like, wait, did I say morning? But it definitely is afternoon. So hello, incredible greetings, incredible after. Feel like there is a bug, an ant in my nose because I'm literally looking at all of these ants and it is driving me absolutely insane. So yeah, all right, I got to get to it. But y'all know I like to hang out. Like this is, I get to what they say. I hate to say, but it definitely applies. Where we, take care of two birds with one stone. Because I get to clean up, but I also get to kind of hang out and get my live minutes, live hours in when people actually ask questions. I get to fulfill that part of everything where I get to help some folk when you guys actually ask questions. So I have to be here. I could be listening to podcasts. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's always something to do, but I can't like physically do anything for the business, like, business type stuff, because I'm cleaning up. But I can talk. I can interact with you guys. So whenever it is time to clean up, everybody, everywhere, clean up. Everybody do your share. I come on live. It just makes sense. Or at least in my head, it makes sense. I don't feel like I'm like wasting any time or, like feeling like, oh, I could be doing something else. So yeah. I got you itching. My bad. I hate ants. Like, it gets so bad here during the rainy season. With all of the ants trying to escape the rain. Forget the itsy bitsy spider. The itsy bitsy ants. You trying to escape the rain. Wait. Oh no, it's the ants, right? To get out of the rain. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, the ants go marching one by one. Hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one. Hurrah, hurrah. The ants go marching one by one. No, that's not it. No, it's something. And they all go marching down to the ground to get out. That makes no sense. They're marching down to the ground to get out of the rain. That makes no sense because that's where the water's going to go. That really makes no sense. They really go march inside your house to get out from the rain. But anywho. Getting dressed to go to line dance class. You actually have some folks that are able to attend throughout the day. I cannot wait until I can host classes like throughout the day again. Some days I do miss the pandemic life because I was able to teach throughout the day because people were at home and they were available. So some days I do miss the pandemic era. I do miss it sometimes. Oh, I gotta keep these. I was supposed to use these as an example for printing front and back. So let me keep those while they were on the floor. I have no idea. I'm gonna start on the floor first today because I can't move. I can't move in this room. Let's see. Incredible. Oh, I saw that one. I can clean up with you because my craft area is a hot mess.com. She just said mess for those who are watching up on Facebook, but I ad-libbed and add a little extra to it. She says not the cleanup song. Hey, yes. Clean up. Everybody, everywhere. Clean up. Everybody do your share. But I am everybody. And all of the shares are mine because this hot friggity mess, it's all my fault. Cannot blame anybody else. It is literally all my fault. Alrighty, so what y'all got going on? I have quite a few things that we are working on here. Originally today was one of those days because like Monday was like one of our regular days for creative business, but like I said earlier, I'm taking MJ to his first concert, like one of his artists. So taking my headphones. Hopefully I don't know. It's been a while. I don't know if they let you bring in headphones, but I don't know these people. I don't really care for today's rap. I just don't want my kid to be there by himself. So I'm hoping they let me take my headphones and I'm going to be checked out. Yeah. So I can't have the session this evening. But my whole schedule is going to come out probably still today. I was looking at like the Facebook memories came up and October because it kicks off it's the first month of the last quarter of the year. And that's where I go like heavy. I didn't do as much like last week, but kind of going for it. And I have the conference or the expo in Orlando next week. So that's going to affect some days, which last time too, it was the expo for impressions, but I ended up not going to that one. But this one I am going to. So I had to kind of rework my plans. But my creative business, we are going to go through a lot of AI stuff and how to incorporate AI in your business effectively and how to make it work for you. So I'm excited about that. I've been working on that presentation for a couple of days. It feels like a week, 2 weeks, but a little bit here and there because I'm working on block scheduling. But we have some AI stuff coming up, some pricing things. We have some things to help you get ready for tax time. So yeah. So it actually is starting this. We're supposed to have a check-in for September, but that was my fault in how late the notification went out. So we are starting back up this month. So yeah, we are definitely starting back up. So that schedule will be out along with all of the design classes for Creative Lounge. So you're in Orlando. Printing United is very, very large expo. So like when we go to impressions is a lot more of like machinery and things for garment decorating. Printed United kind of covers all bases. So it's where you will see UV and well, probably not solvent where they'll actually be using it because, hazards and stuff, but like your big printers, like for your banners and things like that. But they'll also have like heat presses and DTF printers and like M&R is there. M&R does really big, well, that's like mainly screen printing, but like on a large scale. So all of your like different vendors and wholesalers for apparel and blanks and all sorts of things for paper. Like you got to come prepared to walk with a bunch of stuff. It is humongous. It is at the Orlando Convention Center, and it literally can take you about all 3 days to really, really like go and see everything. I had planned a guided tour, but then I found out so many of my fellow like creators in education, like the Blank Spot, Javaya's coming down, Craftastic Tips with Shawnee D's coming down. T Speaks says she's coming down. So it's like, I really want to do the guided tour, but I also want to kind of hang out with like others who are in that creative, educational, like, informational space. So I'm like trying to figure it out. Because I think I want to have like a powwow, like dinner round table with them. I love y'all, but yeah, I do plan to still have some sort of like meet and greet to see all of my creative peeps are in the Central Florida area, or if you're just, you're from other areas and you're going to come down to Orlando, it is the 22nd through the 24th is the dates for the expo. So Printed United. And so right now I think like there is a fee, but you're interested in going, just let me know. And I will point you in the direction where you can you'll get a code and you can attend the expo part for free because they have started charging for the expo part of it. But if you just want to go to that part, there's a couple of vendors there. Normally you can go like to their websites and things like that, and they will have a code that you put in where you can attend the expo part for free. So it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I geek out. This will be my 3rd time going to Printing United. Yeah. you get to see the big boy printers. I mean, big boys. And then there's like, they have expo prices where if you end up, committing to buying your printer or equipment when you're at the expo, they'll have like discounts and things of that nature. I never really bought like, in the market for printing, but it's like nice to see them. That's kind of how I compiled my list of different things. Y'all know me. I'm an ask questions kind of gal. I'm always trying to get y'all to ask questions, but y'all refuse to ask questions, but I'm an ask questions kind of gal. So like when I was going there, like I'm asking all the questions and the this, the that, and like they're normally forthcoming and like they really answer like a lot of your questions. Like there's demos of everything. So this is where I learned about a lot of the things that some people are just not learning about and they just not getting hip to. Your girl been in the industry and like at these events for a long time, where the craft community probably didn't put like as much emphasis in going to these types of events and expos. I feel like some crafters have made it kind of known or trendy to kind of go because a lot more people will try and go to Impressions when it's in California because that's their biggest city. And that's always in January, but there's a lot of different ones, like a lot of different graphics type, like expo and like creative things. It's not called crafting. I'll tell you that. You'll never find one that says craft expo, but that's a story for another day. Y'all know I get kind of, about that whole craft word. I just don't know why that is the word that describes this in this industry. The hell is that? Good to know about this. I'm in Cali. So yeah, a couple of them come to Cali, and then it's like if Vegas isn't that far of a drive, because like before Impressions and ISS used to be together, but now they're like totally separate. But ISS is like they have a stop that's in Vegas. I'm not sure the other places, but they're in Vegas. But Impressions is always now in LA in January, Atlantic City in March, and Texas in October. So hello, incredible greetings. Welcome. Oh, let me go over here. I always forget. Let me go back to here. All right. So we didn't have any other comments. So cool beans. But this is an open forum, guys. It can be a question. Not to say a question, a topic that you want to pick my brain on. If you have specific questions, feel free to go ahead and ask. Like I'm literally going to be cleaning up, but I can still engage with you guys. I can help you guys. I'll give you some guidance, give you some support. So if it's a question about business, about design programs, about techniques, things of that nature, feel free to ask. The more questions, the better, where there's not so much dead air and dead space. Now, I'm going to be moving around. You will hear my voice, but you may not always see my face because I will be moving around. I wish I had the little camera that would follow me wherever I went, but I don't have that. So you'll hear my voice. I'm here to answer your questions, or let's just pick a topic and let's just talk about it, just talk about it. And yeah, so I'm gonna work this side of the room. I can probably turn this a little bit. It's a little messy over here. It's a little messy. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Okay? Don't judge me. So I'll kind of start off. I am not the make stuff specifically for Christmas type person. I don't get into like trying to figure out how to make stuff Grinchy or Winter Wonderland and Santa and all that kind of good jazz. I personally don't subscribe to that creative process, like thought process. Um, I will have holiday sales and people will want things for loved ones that are custom made based off of the thing that their loved one likes. So, of course, I do advocate for promoting your services to get orders for Christmas, but I'm not the, oh my gosh, I want to make things specifically for Christmas. Like, I don't necessarily, I would say it's a little bit hard for me sometimes to kind of teach some things that are trending because I don't naturally like just make them. And I do know that some people, they get people to sign up for their classes because they take the time to make things, even if they're not going to sell them, which is a hard pill to swallow for me. And I want to make sure I put this disclaimer. Just because I don't doesn't mean that you won't find success in it. I just don't put value in it. Others will, and they'll make money off of it, and some people don't make money off of it. But I personally, I don't do the Grinch box thing and stuff like that. Like, yeah, that's, to me, it's just not an effective use of my time because those have to be customized with the names and things like that. Now, if there was a better way, but I mean, even then, like maybe to have a custom box to just put regular things in, like the box is the star of the show, but making individual wrapped bags of chips and cookies and juice and this with their name on it, not I said the cat, the dog, the frog, or the hog, not go happen captain. But if there's something that you're wanting to learn, I can literally teach anything. Everything that I teach, I don't do. I teach it because y'all want to know about it, but I don't do it, which is why I, like, especially within the past couple of months, I was very intentional in separating like the creative part and the like design part from the business class. So we have the creative business program, but we also have the creative design lounge, and being very intentional in separating those so that you don't ask me about, oh, well, how much do I sell this for? We're not discussing this in any type of design class. I'm not discussing anything price-wise because I can teach you the thing, but not teach you about selling it. And everybody's area is different. So like in the business class, we get to really break down what factors affect your pricing. So I'm no longer mixing the two. All right. Let's see here. I'm debating on converting my 8550 to DTF instead of sublimation. I'm leery about shaking the machine. I don't believe in doing DTF conversion, so I couldn't help you on that one. I want to learn so I can be of service to schools and businesses as well as a little personal stuff on the side. Yep, I'm not either. Trying to use the little time I have wisely. Okay. So I'm going to speak to this from a couple different sides, right? So as a former PTA president, there's ways to work with schools without working directly with the schools, because there are certain regulations and certain guidelines that schools have to follow. Like they have to get so many bids. And you also have to be an official vendor. In order to be an official vendor, you have to have your ducks in a row. You have to have business license, liability insurance, not business license, business insurance. So your liability insurance and things of that nature. Like you can't just be a Joe Schmo or just have a website and think, okay, yeah, now I want to work with the schools. You have to go through their process to officially like work with the schools for school related things. Now, you can always, of course, make connections within the school because they might need some personal stuff. Everything won't be all for the school things. And then when it comes to teachers, yes, it's smaller orders. You're not doing like for the full school, but you can, like once they know you can end up working with teachers. I've done like the notebooks and things like that for teachers. I've made shirts for like a teacher wanted class shirts. So, we were the vendor that they chose to make their class shirts. So there are ways to work with individuals within the school system without working directly like with the school system. Y'all get them putting down, right? And PTAs are basically booster clubs. They don't fall under the same like guidelines per se, like having to go through like approved vendors and things like that. I mean, they gonna vet you, but they have a little bit more leeway with how they spend money because they are not technically a part of the school. And then there's a lot of things that you can make for the school. So when you say you want to work with the schools, what are some things that you consider, like in your mind, ideally you would like to make X, Y, and Z for schools? So just thinking of schools as general, not breaking it up to PTA or with teachers or, whatever. When you're like, I want to work with schools and businesses, ideally, what type of services are you looking to provide? Like, would you ideally like to provide? Good morning. I purchased HS Pigment Ink again. Love it. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you for your purchase. Okay. Thank you for the business point of view for schools connection. Sounds good. I still need to learn the skill of making the projects. Any suggestions on what I should view of yours? First, I would like to do some branding stuff for the school name or sports. Okay. So clothing wise, the crazy thing is people jump to clothing first. And I can honestly say, like, that is where the least amount of money is made. I'm just being honest. The least amount of money is made in customized apparel on the school level. Because there's only so many spirit shirts they'll have. When you're talking about individual shirts for parents and things, you want to be known like by the parents and athletes and stuff to where you can do things like for their school, like for their particular athletes. But school wise, not a whole lot of opportunities. It's not like they wear a lot of uniforms and things like that. Like, they might go and get like a polo shirt or get like a faculty and staff type shirt. They may have like spirit shirts, but especially like on the elementary school level, that's really as far as that goes. Now, when you're talking like maybe like high schools, so my son, he is on student council, right? They got so we had to pay $165, and that was for, I think, a jacket, a polo, a t-shirt, and something else, right? So when they had their installation, they had, their polo, and like SGA has a maroon one, and then all the student council, which is all of the grade level officers, they have a gray, and it has like, it's embroidered, and then it just said student council 2025, 2026. But there's only so many officers, for that. So that's like, that's an order, whatever that you can have that happens like once a year. So that could be like a standing order because there's always turnover with that. And it says the year. So even if somebody was to still be president the next year, like they got voted in, they still would need a new shirt that said 26, 27. So that is an opportunity if you are the person that happens to win that bid and things of that nature. A lot of the times with those things though, unless something crazy happens with their vendor, they're pretty locked in for those types of things because they know for sure this vendor has our logo already digitized. Like they know exactly how we want it. So with those things, it's really harder to kind of get in there for those unless like maybe like a new activities director or like a new person, maybe you have a personal relationship with them and they'll give you the business. That area is really hard to kind of get into if it's already established. So be mindful of that. But there's so many other opportunities like posters and banners, like just regular print things that they will need around the school. That's a better opportunity. I've helped a couple people who are into like balloons and things of that nature, like event decorating, especially like prom time or graduation time. Like these are different services that, you know, they are willing to explore different companies, but clothing is actually one of the least ones in the, like, it's like the lowest on the totem pole as far as like really getting consistent like business through the schools. So spirit gear really only happens a few times. Like, you know, they'll have a spirit shirt, so you'll get that one order. So unless like you're doing a bunch of schools, you know, that's something that may only come around like once a year. Or, you know, if it's a school where they allow them to put orders in throughout the year, like, you know, you'll have like wait for small batches, and parents are very slow to buy spirit shirts. But as far as stuff like for the games for parents, that's not done through the school. And you might be able to do like booster club things where you will make something and then they're going to sell it to the parents. So let's say like the stickers and things. There are some people who've been doing the decals and things for the cowbells, and they're going directly through the parents, like the end user, that consumer. But then there are some where, okay, I rather work in volume. Yes, I'm going to charge less, but I'm also going to produce more of them, so I don't have to work as hard to close that sale. So there are some that they don't have to put individual pictures on there. It's going to be like just the school logo or whatever, and they're going to give it, like they're going to sell it to whoever the booster club person is at a very, you know, reasonable rate. Then that person is going to then sell it as a fundraiser to the parents, where they're going to either sell them just the decal, like just the sticker, or they're going to sell them the cowbell with the sticker on it, and then that's a fundraiser. So like being able to do those types of things is where you're really going to see money at. So one of the first places that I recommend that you kind of go in if you want to get into the business side is going to be creative business. Like to kind of really dive into this and ask these specific questions and get specific answers and really hone in on it. Creative business, link is in the description of the video. That's going to be the first place for that. And then, you know, knowing what you're going to need and what to expect. So you want to go to, well, I don't know about like your area, but like all the schools here, they have what's called a procurement fair. And this is where they basically outline everything that you will need to know in order to do business with the school board, right? So what insurance you have to have, how your business has to be structured, what the process is, like they go through all of that. So you're going to need to be, you know, get all of your ducks in a row for that. So just kind of being able to sit in the sessions and really kind of understand what that's going to cost you, because that's money that you're going to have to put in. If you don't have a website, if you don't have an invoicing system, if you don't have business insurance, what is that going to cost to get that up and running to where you are one step closer to being on their approved list? Because you're not going to be approved just being a regular crafter from home. You're not going to be approved. I'm just saying. Without having some sort, not saying that you can't work from home. I'm just saying like the people that just kind of start up. Oh, okay, I know how to make a shirt. I want to go apply for the schools. It's not going to work that way. Certain things that you're going to have to do, or at least I'll say within the two districts here that I'm very familiar with, which is Dade and Broward. So be mindful of that. As far as how, yes, I definitely know the ins and outs. From the inside and the outside looking in. So really, I noticed that all the schools only allow parents to buy in bulk because they don't have a vendor to buy from consistently. So that's not the school. Okay. So it depends on your area and how they are about their logos, right? And if they are a school where they're like, you can't put our school name and our mascot on like shirts, if they have like a certain regulation, you know, on that. They'll have maybe, you know, ones that they can recommend. They can't force anybody to buy in bulk. if you are a parent that, like, there's plenty of parents like they want to have their own shirts, and they will find creatives in their area that can make them a customized shirt. But they can't like force you to, unless they're being very, very strict about the way that you're using their name and their mascot. A lot of the schools here use the same mascots as like some of the colleges. So it's not really, it's like always up for debate on who that really belongs to, because theirs looks exactly like sometimes even NFL teams. Like there's Patriot teams here where their logo looks exactly like New England Patriots. So it's like, and their name are the Patriots, even though it's like a different high school. Well, you're making that, and if you just put Patriots without like the school name, it could like, are you talking about them? And it opens you up to a lot of other like issues. So some of them really can't tell you like what you can and cannot do, maybe the name, but they're using a logo that they will be using anyway. So this is why you have to really understand your school districts and how they operate. But some of the schools may require you to be like on a list to be able to advertise at all at their school. Some schools have like a mailing list or like a vendor list, or like they'll have like you can buy slots. I remember like our high school, people could buy ads like in our yearbook, right? So if you want to be in publications like that, if you want to have a page, if they actually have a school newspaper. Well, I don't know. I don't think schools really do newspapers anymore, but back in my day, they had the school newspaper. Or I don't think I've really seen a lot of schools that like just advertise for businesses on their Instagram. That would be a prime location to fundraise for schools, though. The same way that we used to have people pay for slots they would pay for spreads in the yearbook. They would pay for spreads in the newspaper. And then you have some that, like some schools, like the graduation book, when you go to commencement and they have all that stuff, there were some that would sell ad space even in that booklet. Anything that went out to the masses, they were able to sell ad space to it. That would be actually pretty smart for them to do. I'm not sure how the school board does stuff now, because they don't really do printed publications for their social media, like their Instagram and stuff. Oh no, they should look into that. But if it's something where they are promoting you on a mass level, like some people have sponsors, or you'll pay for it to have a banner outside the school where parents will see and people will see, okay, you are a company that will provide X, Y, and Z. There are some where if you do things for like senior night, like the banners, and they'll hang on the gates, you can probably put your QR code. People now see that, they scan the code. Like that puts you in front of their audience, because it's not your audience. So it puts you in front of all these people that will pass by the school every single day, or pass by the field, this, that, and the third. So like I said, there are a lot of opportunities, but when it comes to like shirts and things like that's spirit wear is normally a individual type thing. Now you'll have like class shirts. So I know like my son's middle school, they did not have a school-wide like just shirt, but they had, it was the same design. It was just on different color shirts. So like sixth graders had a certain color, seventh graders, eighth graders, but it was like the same design. It was just on a different color shirt, but they didn't have like one school-wide shirt. The school MJ's at now, they have like 3 different spirit shirts. Zion Imani Elementary School, they have one spirit shirt, for the year. That's why I said it's not a whole lot of opportunities when it comes to like apparel. People think, okay, high school, there's a bunch of different sports. Yes, there's a bunch of different sports. There's a bunch of different athletes and auxiliaries and things of that nature. But the spirit wear and like customized things don't always come through them. And then when they want like larger things, so let's say like if the band is getting new uniforms, or I've seen like a couple bands where they'll have the bottoms, but their shirts are like all the same. That's normally screen prints. Like that's something that the school, because the school a lot of times is covering it, or, even if they offset the cost to the student, they're not looking to pay $25 like rates and things like that. Like they're wanting these shirts for the cheapest they can possibly get. So if you are that person that's stuck on this $25, $30 shirt and, oh, I know my worth and that don't really work with the schools. You're going to end up a lot, sometimes paying less, but then there are some departments where they will pay like top dollar for certain things, but it's like it's warranted. Sometimes like the embroidery type stuff, but just like a regular like little situation on a shirt, they're not paying $35 for that. Sorry, not gonna happen, Captain. So it's nothing wrong with starting there. For me, I'm gonna always advocate for. Hold on, because I had stopped cleaning. Let me get this. So it's not that you have to limit yourself to just friends and family, but the more practice and experience that you can get in, the better. Because, you might be working on an accelerated time frame. Schools can be very particular about how they want things to look. So you knowing how to make sure colors are accurate, you having your vendors. So just because their shirts are done with screen printing and you may not have a screen printing press doesn't mean that you can't do that order, those jobs. It just means that you need to now learn about how you can outsource to be able to still get that job. Whether you are going to partner with someone that does screen printing, or you're going to get screen print transfers where you can heat press them yourself, in your workspace. You want to make sure that you're learning about different types of shirts and brands and fits for shirts, like the cut of the shirts. So this should be your learning ground. Working with other, working with friends, family, or just locally before this whole global thing is how you get notes. You have a journal, like you are learning all of these things so that you are prepared to handle the demands of something like a school or business. And you can probably do like some smaller businesses, but you have to be like, you have to be willing to go out and actually speak to them. You have to have something to present to them. You can't just say, okay, hey, here's my Instagram, especially if your social media isn't well put together. You got to have something that you're going to present to them. You have to be professional in how you are approaching them. In creative business, we go through how to have a professional presence without having necessarily an e-commerce site and having all of these major systems. Like you can start with some beginner systems so where someone will come to you and how you're going to talk to them, how you're going to articulate, how you're going to break it all down, your customer service. They will not know that you just kind of got started, especially if you have those things where I'm going to hyper focus in on this to where this will be my flagship thing. And when I am discussing these things, you would think that I've been doing this for 30 years. Now, all that other stuff, I'm over here scratching my head, pulling my edges out, trying to figure it out. But this thing right here, oh, baby, I can talk circles around you about it. And that's the thing that you lead with when it comes to speaking with companies. So going to smaller companies and doing their shirts or some type of paraphernalia or, oh gosh, different things, they might need different merch or different promotional items for their business, you would be able to produce those things. So don't think that you have to start with just friends and family, but some of the bigger organizations that will require a lot more, you want to get a little bit of, you want to get some things under your belt. If you've never done 500 shirts, 300 shirts, or you're trying to get that order, but you haven't even done an order of 20 shirts, to know what that process would be like. How would you have to systemize it? How would you deliver it to them? Do they require it to be individually bagged? Are you just going to be able to put them in boxes by the sizes? Where do you order in bulk? If you haven't done an order of 25 shirts, 5 shirts, we can't think about without, or unless you're going to pay for some guidance through the entire process, we can't just automatically jump to what I want to go and service them for 100 shirts, 200 shirts, 300 shirts, 500 shirts. Well, you do know where to start and learn, and that would be with me. So 2 programs. One is going to cost you $25.63 per month. The first month is $43.65. There's a wealth of information there. Since you want to start off with clothing, we go through 12 different ways that you can customize apparel, the pros and cons of them, what they work well for, what they don't work well for. So that's included in the Creative Design Lounge. So that's going to be $43.65 for your first month, $25.63 every month thereafter if you want it to automatically come out. Now, if you want to just try it out for a month, then you can pay $36.50 and just try it out for 1 month and just kind of see what all is in there, what is valuable to you, make your $36.50 back on that, and then decide if you want to then pay for a monthly. Yes, you still will have to pay that $43.65 once you decide that you want to do it, you want to pay for it monthly. Or there's a quarterly option or an annual option. And then the Creative Business Program is currently $53.65. So we did a price slash on it, get more of you guys in, get you really prepared in this 4th quarter to go into the new year strong, help you prepare for your taxes, things of that nature. So right now that is only $53.65 to get into the Creative Business Program. So less than $100. So for like basically for both programs, if you're going to do it where it's automatic, you're going to pay about $75. But if I can't help you make $75 in a month, then I'm not doing my job. Incredible afternoon. Yes, heat press transfers I can put on myself. That's something I want to come to you to create something for me and my band. Well, really just jazz it up. Those I already have, and then I can press. Okay. So I just went over that. So actually, before I even got to that, I just went over what both of those programs were. So there's 2. Both of them are listed in the description of this video. Move out the way. You are very welcome. We look forward to seeing you in the next session. Again, feel free to ask your questions, your comments, your concerns, your fears, if there's any topics you want to discuss, because I'm just cleaning up until it's time to go pick up my children. This thing is getting on my nerves. I have to find a home for it, not on my floor. I'll tell you, part of my issue too is I am not new to this industry. So a lot of the equipment that I have, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that a beginner uses it. So I try and conceal some of the things that I use. Like I have an industrial cutter, but a lot of the times if I'm doing like paper trimming, don't get me wrong, I use this one for certain things too, but you'll see me use something like this one before you see me use my large one, because that is something that I realized like over time that I needed. And that's one of the things that you will realize that you should be looking, that you should understand, should I say, as well, that the equipment that you start off with to learn how to do these things won't be the equipment and supply that you use forever. You will have to make upgrades. A lot of the equipment to get started that you're getting at a lower price point, it's you can't save time and money. So it might take you a lot longer to do certain things because you're trying to keep the costs down while you're learning, while you're trying to figure it out to make sure that you have a market for it. And then once you understand or realize that you do have a market for it and you need to ramp up production, is where you start to invest in different types of equipment. So for any of the like what's what I'm looking for, like things that you would cut out, right? I've seen videos and reels, especially like some of those Spanish countries and areas, they're cutting things out by hand. Okay. They're not worried about having a Cricut, a silhouette, you know, some of them will use like die cuts, which that can get kind of pricey for those things, but it makes your life so much easier. But they start off just cutting by hand. That's actually how I started, is cutting things by hand. And then I got into using cutting machines like a Cricut. I had the one with the cartridges, so I was limited. And then of course I got the silhouette, which made it unlimited. Like I can, anything I can dream of and think of and design, I was able to cut. And then you go into like die plates and things of that nature. If it's like cutting things down, some people may still use print and cut, you know, to cut a straight line, even for where I put them things at. Like even for these, the little game booklets, some people may cut these by hand. For the rounded corners, they're gonna, you know, do a little section and they're gonna use like the little rounded hole punch and punch those little holes one by one. Whereas I have one that I can cut through 500 sheets of these at one time. And then I was looking for that little menu thing that I had, you know, like some people who are like, well, I still can't use scissors. I can't even use a ruler. I would need to use, you know, I rather use print and cut for it. All right, cool beans. You can use print and cut, but then it's like loading one by one. You'll be limited in how many you can fit on a page. Whereas with me, because I now have industrial cutter, I could either use the regular paper trimmer, learn how to do that. You'll do that one at a time. It'll take up more time, but you'll be able to fit more on a page doing it that way versus using the print and cut feature. Then there's industrial cutters where you can go and you have to know where to line it up at, but you can cut through a bunch of sheets at one time. So there's going to be levels. There's going to be development to it. And that is when you'll start to really see your profits. My issue is there's so many crafters who want to see major profits, but you're doing it the most time-consuming way, but you want to charge a whole lot of money to be able to make higher profits, but you're using a very time-consuming process. Whereas if you just stick with it and you start to upgrade, your profit margins will increase because you're working more effectively. To me, this is one of the downfalls and why so many people don't really stay in full-time business in the creative space or craft space, is because you're trying to crawl before you walk. The other downfall is y'all don't seek information. Y'all are waiting for someone to give you the magic formula and the magic potion. A lot of you guys are waiting for someone to say, hey, this is how you're going to make it big. This is how you're going to get to the bag. This is how you're going to make six figures. This is how you're going to be super successful. And you're waiting for them to tell you what you need to do. Oh, you need to do this amount of you need to have this type of social media presence. You need to be making this type of content. You need to be posting this many times per day. You need to be charging this. Like, you are waiting for someone to tell you what to do. You are not seeking information. And a lot of times that comes from you really don't know what it is that you even really want to do. You see other people doing things. Oh, that looks cool. I like to be creative. I want to have an outlet. I need it for my anxiety. And it was something, an outlet for your anxiety. It was an outlet because you were depressed. It was an outlet for grief. And now it's all about like making money, which can be even more stressful because entrepreneurship is not for the weak. It is not something that is easy. It is not as easy as, okay, well, I want to be able to leave my 9 to 5 so I can do this full time. When all the responsibility falls on you, it is not as easy as people want to glorify it and make it out to be. And it becomes even harder because you guys don't seek out information. Like, in entrepreneurship, you have to be hungry for information. You have to be hungry for answers. And so many of you guys are not. It's because we need that money, but rushing it that's not gonna, so you might need the money, but now I guess if you want to build your business off of quick fixes and you just want just quick cash injections here and there and ride the wave of something that might be popping for like a week, and then it's going to take you, or like, let's say like a month, but it might take you a whole week to be able to like even create the time to learn it, then take you a couple days to really get it, then you have to get the material, then you still have to market it, and now you're on the downside of the trend versus when it was coming up. And what people don't realize about a lot of these trends, they're started by people who've been in this for a while. So they're able to capitalize off of it faster than you can because it is something that you are just now learning. And you're just getting the surface level of a lot of this stuff. And some of these trends can lead to other opportunities. And there's a lot of learning within these trends. But you guys, let's say you guys, but a lot of crafters, they focus on whatever that trend is or whatever that thing is, and they're not ever looking any deeper to see, okay, after this has died down, how can I maintain momentum? How can I use the things that I learned for this trend for other things in my business? Because you guys don't seek information. You don't. You're waiting to be told what's going to make you money. Unless you are complete, like right now, this will be the perfect opportunity for all them folk who can't go to work because the government don't shut down. You should be asking all the questions, getting all your ducks in a row, because you don't know how long this is going to last. So if you are already somewhat in the creative space and you are affected by this shutdown, like for real, this is your opportunity. When you kept saying, now see, for some folks, they're going to see it as, yeah, it's kind of bad. And there are some people that really need their job. Like they need their coins, right? Here is the weird part about like believers and, those who are praying folk, right? Because there's somebody who sees this shutdown as a blessing, right? They're like, oh, I have savings and stuff like that, but I can't never really get no real vacation. I can't really focus on this. This job is always da 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 da. So to them, because they had been praying for a break, they had been praying for some opportunity to be able to get their business together. They tired of working on this job. Lord, I just need just a few more hours, like not feeling like they want to take vacation just to work on their business. For them, it's like, oh, thank you, Jesus. All right, because for them, they might be okay. They probably have savings. They have a significant other. They may have other ways that money is coming in. but they couldn't really focus on their business because of that contractual job. So now for them, they're like, oh, thank you. I can go, I can watch all these classes that I took that I was never able to watch. I'm now able to watch these classes. All this stuff that I purchased that I didn't use, I'm able to now work on that, and I'm able to figure out this printer. I'm able to set this one up. So for some people, they see this as a blessing in disguise, and they see it as, this is my answer prayer. Okay, y'all hold off for like another week or so because I need to be able to get my life together. Where there's others, they're like, look, y'all need to figure this shit out. I need to get back to work. But if you are that person where you're not completely panicking, or at least you got some motion, this will be the best time. All them classes that you purchased that you know good and hell well, you ain't bothered to look at. You probably attended it live. You didn't really take any notes. You was there. You didn't participate in the actual activity when it was live. You were sitting there just watching and, oh, I'm just going to watch whatever. Now's the time where you need to go and put some action to that thing. Okay. You got to put some action to it. How do you print sublimation stickers on sublimation paper without messing up the registration marks in Silhouette Studio? I will say this. I do not understand why y'all using sublimation for stickers. I don't get it. I don't understand it. That is the weirdest thing in the world to me. I mean, if you got a printer for sublimation, do regular sublimation stuff that only sublimation can do, like a tumbler, a mug, to where you don't feel anything on a shirt. Why are we using sublimation for stickers? I have no idea. It's like, yeah, that don't make no sense to me because there's regular printers. Like, you can literally go get, like, why are we trying to figure this out? Why are we adding extra steps? Why? Because sublimation ink is not, the color isn't there until you press it. So why are we doing extra steps? It doesn't make it look any better. It doesn't make it stick any better. I'm not understanding why we're making stickers via sublimation when there are 1,001 different other ways. Not really 1,001, but a regular home printer, there's papers for laser printers. If you don't have one, take it to Staples or Office Depot or whoever, whatever. Go to Kinko's. Go to the library. Hell, do like we did back in the day. Use the copier at your job. Why are we using sublimation when there's 1,000,001 ways to make stickers? I have no idea. So I may not be the person to ask for that. So as far as like really, really helping, I'm not going to advocate for it. But to answer your question, it can be a little bit difficult if the paper, like, I found that some of those sheets are not truly like 8.5 by 11, and that's what you're printing on, right? Like, it might be a little bit smaller. Silhouette Studio is looking for that mark to be in a specific spot. If your paper is not the exact same size, if you're doing the method where you're going to print sublimation paper and press it to it, it needs to be the exact same size, and it needs to line up perfectly in order for those registration marks to read. And then if you're going to try and just print directly to it and then just press it to activate the ink, then you don't mirror it. Then it will be in the right spot if you're determined to use that material. I don't recommend it though. Oh yeah, layoffs can definitely turn people's worlds completely upside down. There's nothing, like I said, some people will find the silver lining in it, and for some, it is the most devastating thing. Like, they could be on the verge of losing their home and like their livelihood. Like, layoffs can lead certain people to can lead people to homelessness. So, and like where they never recover. So it's not great for everyone. Like, everyone has their own personal journey with like this whole thing. Thank you, Cheetah, for tagging some folk. Appreciate it. All right, so for those of you guys who are just coming in, I am Shakia the Professor. I am your resident subject matter expert on all things creative and crafty. Silhouette Studio can answer questions for Canva, Photoshop, if you have design questions when it comes to the business side. Our company is called Honestly Speaking, so it's a play on words, but it is pronounced Honestly Speaking because your girl really don't have a whole lot of like filter to her. And I say exactly how I feel based off of my experiences, professionally and personally, and the things that I've just seen, I've observed, I've been a part of for the past almost 3 decades. I share based on that information. I share based on the fact that I love being a know-it-all. I am a very nosy, inquisitive person where I research a lot. Like, that's just my personality in general. So it rubs some folk the wrong way that I'm a know-it-all, but it's just I seek information. I seek knowledge. I go after it like with a vengeance. That's just me. So there aren't a lot of things that I have not either experienced hands on, or I've done some bit of some research on it. I've had I've dipped my toe in a few things, and so I can share my experience and the knowledge that I have based on that experience. So when I have these sessions, I'm here cleaning up, but this allows me to connect with my community, connect with new folk who may have never seen me before. This gives you an opportunity to pick my brain for absolutely free, but you have to seek the information. If you're going to sit in the background, then you also can't complain about your lack thereof of any type of success or reaching your goals, because when you have someone, you took the time to click on the video, you're here, you're listening, you haven't turned away yet, but you're sitting in the background, not saying a word, not trying to pick up on these gems and get what you need for absolutely free. I'm not asking you to drop anything to my Cash App. I'm not asking you to, it would be nice, HS Inc. 365. I'm not asking you to buy my frappe, which is $7 from Wawa's, $6.78. But go ahead and round up to $7 if y'all want to go ahead and contribute to my addiction to caramel frappes from or frappuccinos from Wawa's. It's $7 if you ever want to go ahead and hit up the Cash App. But I'm always here. Like when I'm doing these sessions, I'm cleaning up. I have the camera on, and I'll answer what questions you have while I'm cleaning up. So you get to just pick my brain for however long I'm on. But if you go and you're reserved and you think that your question is a silly question, a dumb question, if you feel that way and you are ashamed to ask it, then that means you really don't want any help. Then you might need to reevaluate the question that you have in your mind. If you are ashamed to get help for it, is it something that you really need help for? Is it something that you should be putting energy and effort into if you won't even be bold enough to ask a question that you know that you need help and guidance with? Okay. But I am here to help you as much as I possibly can on this live video. I'm going to still do me. I'm going to work. And sometimes these videos, they have a lot of dead space because this is not a class. I'm not going to just sit up here and just kind of like pour my heart out to you and give you all my good gems, and you're not giving me anything, because your comments, your likes, they help my algorithm and help me reach more people. So if you think I'm going to go and give you the world for nothing in return, you are sadly mistaken. But if you go and you help out the algorithm, you go and you do something for yourself, you put forth some effort by asking the question or asking about the topic, baby, we can go in and you can have you a whole masterclass, but you got to take the first step. I'm not here to just hand you a blueprint, but I am here to help guide you. I am here to help and support you in whatever your goals, your visions, your dreams are. Like, I'm here to help you, but you got to put some action to it. Okay. So that we can be very, very silent, and this can be very, very boring, or we can really, we can make some things shake, but y'all got to make those comment sections shake. All right. All right, cool. I'm going back to clean up until I turn around and see a question, comment, concern, topic. All right. My God, the amount of paper on this floor is ridiculous. This is crazy. All right. What do you think about ChatGPT for designing? For designing, I don't create full-on designs in ChatGPT. I like it for ideas. When I get stuck, I do often ask it for ideas for different things, and then I build off of that. So I do like it for that. I use my chat every single day. I actually have a video that I'm going to do that I'm going to go over 3 core reasons why you should be incorporating AI, specifically chat, 60 essential ways to use it, and 5 mistakes. So I do all of my stuff on 365 frameworks. But there's so much more that it can be used for. I'll be honest. I don't think okay, I'll put it this way. There's the trend of photo shoots, right? The thing that's so funny to me is I only see women doing it. It's always the photo shoots and it's women kind of doing it. There's no one really doing these with pictures of men, if they even kind of care about these things. Then there are people oh my God, this is so dope. I'm finna blow this up and put it in my house. That is something for a regular consumer. Those who are in business, you need to figure out ways to really enhance your business, because one of the very things that people say on there, because there's some people that tried to turn it into a business and they were I can do your AI photo shoot, and they were trying to charge $100, right? And it's so many regular consumers. Oh, hell no. All y'all need is the prompt. This and that. People were dropping the prompt and this, that, and the third, or whatever. You can do it yourself. You can do it. Why are they trying to make money off of it? It is going to be very hard to. So for things like that, it's harder to make money off of that. Those type trends. Leave that to the regular folk and let them just make their own images. But trying to like turn that into a business. And the other thing is, for certain design, it depends on what you're trying to create graphics for. If it is something that needs to be trademarked or protected, you cannot protect anything that you create off of utilizing AI. You have to then recreate it. So I love it for ideas and things of that nature. It's not predictable. When you are designing, you have full control over how something looks. If you don't have those skills, if it shows it to you, then also learn how to maybe create those things yourself in these different programs. Yes, it's going to take a lot. But when you have these images, they're not always that great, especially when they're blown up. So I don't rely heavily on AI generated designs or artwork, because it's not it's not high resolution. There's some grainness to it. And the fact that there are so many people who take it and they want to put it in print, they want to do certain things, and they act like it's the greatest. I give them the side eye when you say that you're a professional, because that means you don't even know about resolutions. You can't see the pixelation and stuff in this and the graininess in this, and you think it's all good and it's all cool. I don't care what it looks like on your phone, your tablet. Baby, once you put that thing on the actual computer, you blow it up, you print it out, you get to see all of the imperfections. That ain't cute. Zoom in on that mofo. You'll see that it's not the greatest. It also cannot take the idea and give it to you exact. Whenever you need to make a change, it won't make just a simple change. It has to rethink, reconfigure the whole thing. So now it might recreate it, and there's going to be another part of it that you don't like. Like, damn, why you touch that? This part was good. I just wanted to adjust this one little thing. It cannot just make those small adjustments. It's going to recreate it. So I like it for ideas, but it just replacing designing, absolutely freaking not. I'll show you one of the things that, let's see here. Would it be under screenshots or downloads? I don't remember. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find it. I don't know if I actually took a screenshot of it or if it was just on my computer. I don't think it's this far back. Okay, so and these are screenshots. So yeah, it's not on here. Okay, wait, let's just go to recent. That was a good question. I showed it in my creative business class. Okay, here we go. So I think I gave it some pictures when I did it. And I asked it because my friend, it was like her 4th of July stuff, whatever. So I asked it to generate something, like to generate like a flyer. So it gave this. This is the flyer that ChatGPT created. I'm not saying it's bad, definitely not bad at all. But it was like the idea of like the way they put the title, the red bar across it, the way they did like the bullet points for this. So I even had it because some of her images of like her cake pops weren't that great. So it created, based off of like her original images, it created this cake pop. It created these pretzel rods, which they look very fake because they're, when you dip them, they're not that round at the top. This was like another, and like this is her actual image of candy apples. This is what Chat created. This was her slice of cake. And this is what Chat created to where it didn't look so crumbly. And then I took all of that and I made this. So this was my actual, like I took parts of, their layout and things like that, and I created my own version of it that was truly customized, but it made it easier to conceptualize the idea. Like instead of me sitting there trying to figure out an idea and I'm stuck, I used ChatGPT. It gave me an idea. All right, cool. Now, because I already have design skills, I was able to take that framework that they gave me, like that outline that they gave, or layout, that's what I'm looking for, the layout they gave me, and I was able to create something else, that I can say like I created, and then we had a couple different, so we taught this in creative business. I showed them exactly how we made these. And so using something like Chat, this wouldn't be consistent across the board, right? But when you're doing it yourself, you can make sure that the fonts, the positioning, the sizing, the layout, everything remains consistent. So I'm not an advocate for using Chat just to create some stuff just for the sake of creating it. Hopefully that answers your question. Hi, Professor. Trying Canva, and when adjusting or enlarging pictures, they cut off instead of resizing. So I go back to Silhouette Studio. So I go back to Silhouette Studio or Photoshop. Can pictures be resized in Canva correctly? So technically, it is being resized correctly. It keeps it proportional. You cannot stretch and skew. In my eyeball. So let me see here. And if you go too far, like it's also where you're adjusting it from. If you go too far past where the original bounding box is, then you won't be able to make adjustments. All right, I'm trying to see here. Something that I can. Okay, I was actually about to do this anyway. All right, let me. All right. So if I was to open this here, right? And if I pull from the corner, I can make this as big or as small as I want it to be. That is it adjusting correctly and proportionately. The issue comes in not from adjusting this correctly. The issue comes in when y'all try and stretch. You cannot stretch it. Yes, it is going to cut it off because you are now moving it outside of its proportion. When you go down this way, it is going to cut it off because the height is within its proportions, but you are now making it smaller. So you cannot stretch and skew. Whereas if I were to open this in Silhouette Studio, if I pull from here, it's going to operate the same exact way. You can make it bigger. You can make it smaller. But what you're trying to do is skew it. And Canva will not allow you to do that. And I love that about Canva because the way I cannot stand, I cannot stand it when y'all go and squish these designs to try and make it fit a template. Lord knows I can't stand it. Oh, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. So I'm glad that Canva limits that and you cannot pull from the corner or the bottom and top to make this stretch and skew. So this is not the proper way. Pulling from here is the proper way. Now, for certain things in Canva, when you go to position, this you may not be able to adjust, it'll probably be locked and you cannot unlock it to change this and make it a different size. And you have to adjust it proportionately. But this is correct, ma'am. That is the correct way. And I love it. I love that it doesn't allow people to stretch and skew. That is one of my biggest pet peeves. When I look at designs and y'all got people looking like a scene from Crooklyn. Or they looking bloated like when Sherman first transforms. These were so cute to make for MJ. They were little lollipops went inside there, and it was like his campaign stuff. That was so fun to do. How many of you actually test print or test press your projects and your designs before you go into final production? How many of you actually do test prints or even test presses for sublimation before you go into public to actually producing it? Or should I say, how many of you do not? Ow! Dang it, that hurt. There's nothing funny about hitting that bone. Welcome, welcome. Yes, I test print all the time. Yes, awesome, awesome. Love to hear it. If you don't test print, test press, I'm giving you the side eye. Like, I make senior crowns, and it's not like the full one, but I always do a test print to make sure that the colors are exactly how I want them to show up. I mean, I make adjustments if needed, and then I go into full production. But especially stuff like this, especially when I have to use material like glitter cardstock or glitter HTV, oh, I am not wasting that. And it is something that is humongous. I'm not pressing to this and then it's not correct. So I always do test prints. Harold Jones, are you located in the South Florida area? Are you located in the South Florida area? Okay, so if you're located here, If you're wanting an in-person one-on-one, um, in-person like learning session, that is something that can be arranged. We would end up coming to you because you would need to learn how to utilize your supplies, your equipment, to see how your printers print out, the quality of your heat press. We've done a class or two, like group type classes, but not as often as I would like because we don't have a space for that. So trying to rent out the space, and yeah, folk here in Miami, they say they want to learn stuff, but they can be kind of finicky. So having to rent a space and things like that, we found it better to just kind of go in-house to those who want to learn locally. If it's something design-wise, I still recommend doing that online versus you coming somewhere. I mean, now if you are someone where you're like, I can't do online, like my issue is my distractions at home, we can make arrangements to be able to have a session, even if it's just design-wise. Um, to have a location, because there's a couple of co-working spaces here in Miami Gardens. So we can make arrangements to like go there. Once you book your session and stuff like that, pick your session, it will include like us having to go there and renting out their space. But there are options if you want in person. But our group classes and doing it online, even if it's a one-on-one online, the way that I do mine, it's amazing because you do get a copy of the recording. So what are you interested in learning how to do? So what type of in-person class are you in need of? Oh yeah, I'm in Miami Gardens as well. What type of in-person class are you considering or you're in need of? Designing better, you don't need an in-person for that. Now that we can definitely do via Zoom, unless you like your working environment, it would be too many distractions and you want to just remove yourself from that environment so that you can fully learn. We can definitely do that via Zoom. But I do recommend our, so I'm not sure if your question is more centered around, do we only do group classes or do we offer one-on-ones? But the group sessions, you will get more bang for your buck to be able to truly like design, to just learn design skills in general. But if there's ever anything in particular that you're wanting to like learn, then you can always book a one-on-one session to learn that specific thing. But designing is like, learning to be good at designing is a forever learning thing. You're always going to learn like new techniques, understanding like composition and layout, understanding things like what do you want to be your focal point, like really breaking down designs. Learning those things would be better in our creative design lounge, because that's like ongoing training. Like if you're going to do a one-on-one session, it should be something like, you know, with the one-on-one, like, okay, I need to like figure out this thing or master this. Like I started, but now I want to master it, and getting that help. But just learning design in general, it's just like going to college. Like it's having a class, you know, in college, you're having a class like every other day, every day. Like it's a long process to really, really get better with designing, doing a bunch of practice things and not specifically for orders. That's the issue that I have with a lot of crafters and those in this creative space, is they don't want to work on designs unless it's for an order, and you can't do that. Okay, so that's where, when you still are lost because there are specific things, set up a one-on-one session to go over those things via Zoom. So you don't have to do it in a group class or watch a pre-recorded class. You can schedule just a one-to-one so that you can ask the questions that you have, like anything specific, things that you don't understand. We've had quite a few people do that. Like they watched the class, they had their notes, they came in, were able to clear things up, and it just helped them get past that learning curve a whole lot faster. So you definitely can do that. That is on our website, shop.hsinc365.com. Go to the search bar and type in the word help, and it will show you those sessions. So it's $53.65 per hour. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna have to move that back over. Oof, my toe itchy. All right. I'm going back to clean up, waiting on your next questions. All right. I can see my floor, Jesus. I can see my floor. Ugh. Whoa. Okay, what do you feel like you're bad at that you need to improve on? What's the area of your creative journey, your business journey that you feel is lackluster and you need to improve on? Oh, that was beautiful. The way I was able to hook that on there from over here. Yes. Any other people who buy HTV by the roll instead of the sheet? Are you a parchment paper or butcher paper or both kind of sublimator? Oh, the one thing that sucks about paper is once it's out of the packaging, I can't tell which paper from which. Hi, I miss seeing your lives. I buy the roll. Yeah, for the most part, I like to buy rolls. Even if it's just a small roll, because for the flex, like they'll let you buy like just 1 yard or something. It's very rare that I'm buying like a 12 by 12 sheet or 12 by 12, 1224. Like I'm buying at least a yard. But for certain colors, I'm gonna buy a full standard Caesar roll, which is 5 yards. HTV rolls and sheets if it's a color just for something specific. Incredible afternoon. This is the part that I'm not looking forward to. I gotta go through this paper and literally feel it, and probably also print some things out so that I know which paper is which, because it's no longer in its like original packaging, so I don't know what it is. And like I was doing like a bunch of different things, And so now a bunch of papers are mixed up. So I got to go and get my sleeves that I purchased for paper when it's loose, but I got to feel it and print to it. I'm probably not going to know like the exact brand it is, but I'm going to end up like putting a sheet on there that says used for da da da, like what the quality is, how it prints. Like I'll know that, so that if I ever need to, like, I'll know which paper is which. But yeah, I was doing a bunch of projects and a lot of my papers got mixed up together, and I ain't too happy about it. I ain't too happy. So sometimes when folks be asking like, oh, what paper was that? I don't really know because I've lost the cover sheet to it. But I buy a lot of paper, so I'm trying to like intentionally so-called gatekeep, but I really don't be knowing which paper it is, because once the cover sheet is gone, I really don't care. I care about the quality of the print. I really don't care what brand it was at that point. Now, when I'm ordering though, like I've made notes of things of like certain ones like not to buy anymore because it is just horrid. But sometimes in the moment, like when you post stuff like, oh, what paper is that? Can't always remember which one it is. I know what paper this is though. Honestly speaking, sublimation paper. Ow. Incredible afternoon, listening on TV while cleaning. Yep, I'm trying to get it done. At least I can walk around my office now, because before it was not happening, Captain. It was a hotsmess.com. I can at least walk around at this point. Ow! Stop scratching me. And I'll have like a workable work section pretty soon here, because when I say I could not do anything in this section, not a thing, not a thing. And there are some papers that will never, ever, ever dry. And it sucks. Ew! Oh my gosh, I just put all that shit on my fingers. Oh crap. That was dumb. Now hold on. I gotta clean my hands. Where did my wipes go? Now that was very dumb, Shakia. Now, why would I go and do something foolish like that? Now I got all this black stuff on my finger. And this ain't even wet. Okay, so I love your sublimation paper. Colors are always popping when I submit with it. I can tell the difference if I use other brands. Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that. Definitely can tell the difference. I need to clean my workroom, but the regular housework got me first. Yeah. I can't do them both in the same day. They definitely have to be done on different days. Definitely have to be done on different days. All right. Black soot off my hands. I don't know if y'all saw earlier. It's so crazy how different papers print out differently. Like that was crazy how that came out on that one and on those settings compared to other papers. I think this is the one that's garbage. No, that wasn't a summation print. That's a regular print. So for me, for printing, I do summation. I utilize summation prints. I utilize prints with a dye-based printer, a pigment ink printer, an eco solvent printer, and laser printer. Like those are like ones that I can literally be using at any given moment, any given day. And then I outsource DTF prints and things of that nature. But you'll see stuff here, and it could have been printed with sublimation, dye, pigment, laser, or eco solvent. There's printers for everything. There's no such thing as a one size fits all. Look. How different, depending on the printer. If you are just joining, I am cleaning because it was a hotmess.com in here. I do have some work to do. I have quite a few shirts. I had a shirt that went viral, and I have quite a few orders that will be coming up within like the next like week or so. So I need to make it where I can actually work in here. I also have some other projects I have to work on, and I have some live videos that I need to like live classes, and I can't have behind me looking like Who Shot John. So it needs to get cleaned up in here. More importantly, this area, but I couldn't walk in here. So I'm just cleaning up. We do these kind of cleaning chats. It allows me to do what I need to do as far as like cleaning up, but also connect with you guys, answer any questions, provide guidance, support, help in any way that I can based off of my 26 years of experience in this industry. So feel free to go ahead and ask. No question is a dumb, silly question unless you feel like it's a dumb or silly question and you just don't want to ask it because for some reason in your mind you have made it up that it's insignificant, even though it's a question that you have. Doesn't really make sense to me while you don't ask, but I'm here. I'm willing to answer your questions, to help guide you with the areas that you need help in. I get that some of you guys are like at work, but it's like if everybody's watching here at work, then that's kind of crazy to where no one can interact. But if you can kind of go and sneak that question in like real quick, I will do my best to answer it for you and help you out the best way that I can. I'm doing this until I have to go pick up MJ, which is at 2:20. So we probably have like another good 10 minutes or so before I am out of 5,000. And then I got to get ready because I'm taking MJ to his first concert tonight. Somebody named Loteca. Don't know who it is. Oh, I was supposed to make my child a shirt. Jesus. But I have no idea who this person is. So I wasn't really inspired because I have no idea. When I did research it, like the shirts and stuff that's out there, it's like a shirt literally of just the dude like on the shirt. Like, what the hell is that? So I have no idea who in the hell no Loteca is. Don't know his music. But my child wanted to go. I did find out that it's like not like crazy, like gangsta type ridiculous stuff. So I mean, he where he's playing at, he can't read all that bad. So, but I don't know nothing about it. I'm taking my headphones. So hopefully, let me bring my headphones. I plan on being on my phone working because I don't know nothing about this. But I'm not gonna leave my child in an environment like that because he right here talking about some mosh pitting, and I'm like, sir, what the hell? But he wants to go. So, and he's good kid, principal honor roll. He's technically at that where he qualifies for principal honor roll right now. He's in his Cambridge classes. He's doing his work. So, hey, we can reward you, but I don't know what I'm getting myself into, y'all. I plan on taking Tylenol before I go because I can just feel the headache already. Pray for me. Pray for me. Because I don't know what I'm getting myself into. I just told my kid that I would take him. Came back out. Tickets are paid for. So, yeah. I've been watching you for about 4 years at least. Well, thank you so much for being a long-time watcher, viewer, supporter, subscriber. I appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. Hopefully, you've learned a lot over the 4 years, and I've been able to help you in some capacity over the past 4 years. Well, I would guess, I hope so, because you still suck around. So, to me, that means you learned something, and I said something that made you want to stick around for 4 years. All right. What are you? I think this might be a blank mug. Yep. One of the large mugs. I need another rubber band for this. Oh, yeah. Hey, Javaya, how art thou? I'm actually about to I was trying to clean. I have not been in this room like all weekend long. And I kept saying I needed to. Yesterday was a hair day. Zainimani has very much natural, thick hair. So I fought and battled. And MJ was like you've been in a war with Zainimani and his hair and fighting him to wash it and then blowing it out and conditioning and all that stuff. So I did not come in this room yesterday, and I'm like, I need to get it done because I got some class I need to do, and the back needs to be done. So I was just in here cleaning up, and chit chatting, and now it's time to go get MJ. So I'm about to get off, but yeah. Oh goodness, it's so hard being back in this space because I don't have as much shelving and stuff ends up on my floor that doesn't need to be on the floor. It's like I'm having a hard time finding an actual home for certain things because I don't have shelving like I did in the previous spot. So even just from the other room when I was here before and I was in what is now Zion Imani's room, I had more shelving. I don't have that here. So it is really, really difficult trying to stay organized in this space. Hello, Miss Storm. My first live with you. Well, welcome. If you have any questions, not sure how long you've been on the live, but if you have any questions, you got about 5 minutes to get that question in and get it answered because I got to go pick up the high schooler. And then we normally just go to the elementary school and just sit there and wait for the elementary kid to get out, who gets out at 3:05. So I'll be on my pickup run for quite some time once I get off of here. Oh, I wonder if I have to make a new change. I just saw that. Hold on. Hmm. All right. All right. So no other questions. All right, y'all. I am getting up off of here. Go pick up my kid. Until next time, have a great one. Continue. Oh, someone else says I also have your paper and inks. Also, inks. Um, won't be back for a while, but we definitely have paper. All right, y'all. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.